Let's make a mini Pride Parade float for my Bratz dolls. Happy Pride Month, Moody Bratz! It's your girl, Michaela. Welcome back to my world of 1/6 scale miniatures and Bratz doll collecting. If it's your first time here, welcome. I'm glad you're seriously considering getting yourself a toy as an adult, or you already have some. If you're watching this video, you probably agree that everything looks better in 1/6 scale. So that's why we are having the Moody Bratz Miniature Pride Parade 2023. And we're making miniature Pride Parade floats for our dolls. Or miniatures, whatever collectibles you have, all are welcome to participate in the Moody Bratz Miniature Pride Parade. This video is all about how I made my miniature parade float. And hopefully it gives you some kind of inspo or confidence that you can do this with whatever you have lying around your house. If you're a crafty person, you probably already have all the supplies you need. Or if you don't, check out the Dollar Tree. That's where my tissue paper came from. The dowels/skewers can also be found there. The garden wire came from there. The foam board came from there. The paper clips came from there. Yeah, check your local dollar stores. The thing is, you can't have a parade with only one float, which is why I need you to make your own. The whole idea is that we're gonna have a whole parade together, so make your float and tag me in a video on TikTok or Instagram by June 24th. That's gonna be the deadline for your videos to be turned in, and then on the 28th, I'm gonna put all the videos together and put out a parade video so we can see everybody's floats together in an actual miniature Pride Parade. It can be a video of it rolling by. It can also just be a video showing it off, because honestly, you'll see the wheels part was pretty difficult for me to figure out, so don't feel bad if you can't figure it out. Honestly, it took a long time to make this, so start now. I cannot wait to see what y'all come up with for your floats. Now, let me show you how I made my float.
I'm starting with a shoebox, a pretty decently sized one. It's from some size 9 sneakers, because ideally we'll have the cruiser tow it. Get creative with whatever you have. If you have a car, you can make the whole towing thing happen. I think this is gonna be so cool once it's all fleshed out. For this to be possible, we're gonna need to put wheels on it. Since it has like logos and print on it, and I want to cover it with tissue paper, which is pretty thin, I'm gonna cover it with some solid cardstock. I'm using purple, but you can use whatever color you want. I've covered the sides with the purple paper, but I've left the top uncovered. I will cover the top after we're finished with the sides. Now I'm gonna use this colored tissue paper I got at Dollar Tree. I'm cutting it into strips, cutting the strips into fringe. Prepare all the colors of the rainbow. I don't know what happened to the orange tissue paper in my pack. I must have used it. This is just stuff I had laying around the house. So this is the rainbow I'm working with. It's not exactly the pride flag, but it's gonna be colorful, and that's what I'm going for. The point is to get creative and have fun with this. Now I'm gonna glue these all around this so that the fringe is flailing. I'll just glue down the solid side, because you can see I didn't cut all the way through. I cut like 2/3 of the way through. Now starting from the bottom up, I am gluing on the layers of fringe. I'm pressing it down with my fingers, and on the top layer, I'm putting the glue on the box and then putting the fringe on the glue. I'm also pressing it down on the corner, so kind of folding it over. Here it is with the whole rainbow around the sides, and you can see why I didn't put the top on yet. In hindsight, I wish I had used the spray glue that I actually already had and got at the Dollar Tree also, but just putting the glue all over the top, then putting on more cardstock. This piece of paper alone was not big enough for the entire top, so I added a couple extra strips to the edges. It took a long time to make this float, y'all. This took place over multiple days. It also involved a lot of trial and error. I'm working on the railing now. I'm using skewers. I'm poking them through the float, gluing them in with tacky glue. I did also then go in with hot glue later and reinforce that. And here I am building the railing. I had to put a railing on this because the Bratz, they need to be protected on the float. They need to have something to hold on to. You know what I'm saying? So it honestly, when it is partially done, it is giving wrestling ring, I'm not gonna lie, but you know, it's cute. It's cute. Now we're going to make a tissue paper arch. I'm cutting out circles from tissue paper. I folded up a piece of tissue paper into 1/8, and I'm cutting out this circle. Fold the circle into quarters without creasing it all the way if possible, so you're just creasing it in the corner and you have a little crepe like this, and then stringing it on some garden wire. Make sure all the folds are facing the same direction. We're gonna do 4 of each color in each layer. The arch is looking pretty good. It does need to be properly floofed, but I'm going to glue another skewer to the center of the float and the top of the arch because the wire's a little floppier than I expected it to be. If it's not high enough, we'll just glue it to another skewer. I've successfully covered that in glue. The one skewer is definitely too low, so I'm gonna glue it to another skewer. I put a bunch of hot glue on the skewers so that they were nice and secure, and then I poked it through the middle of the float and I stabbed my hand. As you'll see here, it did hurt, so be careful. I pushed the skewer in as far as I wanted to get the height that I wanted on the arch, and then I decided to add some fringe to the poles because it was seriously serving WWE, and it's not a WWE parade, it's a miniature pride parade. Initially I started putting the glue all over the piece of tissue paper with the fringe and wrapping that around the pole, but I realized this was not the best way to do this, so stay tuned because I will show you another method on how to do the poles with the fringe that is a lot less of a mess and I think actually turned out better looking. It was at this point that I decided I was gonna give it wheels. It took a lot of trial and error. At first I was convinced I'd be able to use the mini fashion capsules as wheels. First I attached them with hot glue to the skewers because I was convinced that if they were attached to the skewer, the whole thing could roll together and it would be smooth and it would be great. Unfortunately, it was not. It was very wobbly. First I attached them like this, that didn't work. Then I attached them like this, that also didn't work. So eventually I just ended up tracing them and making wheels out of foam board as my boyfriend initially had suggested. I used an X-Acto knife to cut them out. I also went back in with hot glue and reinforced where I had attached the railing and cut off the points on the bottom because they were kind of sticking out past the bottom of the box, so they were kind of getting in the way. Here I've included a clip of what the whole contraption looked like on the original attempt for the wheels because I did leave it in there and I ended up using it to help me install the wheels in the final way I came up with. It's essentially just 4 pieces of foam board glued together and then hot glued to the sides of the shoebox. I used my X-Acto knife to saw off the wheels part. You can see I did let the hot glue really go over the side to really securely connect it as much as possible. Here I am, X-Acto knife cutting out the wheels. I lined them all up and I tried to trim the edges to make them more even. Here I'm cutting out some spacers because the way I ended up making each wheel was one wheel, 2 paper clips, as you can see here, for the pole to go down so that it can still rotate around the pole, the skewer, the dowel, if you will. Then a layer of spacers, another layer of paper clips, and then another wheel. You can see I am checking throughout the process to make sure that the wheel can still spin around the dowel because it's very important that the wheels can move around the dowel for them to be able to move the float. Here you can see that I did use the support from the initial wheel attempt to help me figure out how high to glue on the wheels that worked. Look at it, it works. It's a little bumpy, but it was the best thing I could come up with. If you have a better way to do this, please let me know in the comments. I would love to make a better version next time. I'm also using a foam board spacer to make sure I glue those dowels to the sides of the box at the same place for each one so that they're all equidistant from the edge of the box. It turned out pretty decent, I'm not gonna lie. Now that I'm satisfied with the wheels, I'm going to permanently attach the pole in the middle. Here I am setting it up with a few brats just to make sure I glue it in at the height I want, and once I'm satisfied with it, I'm going in with the hot glue, securing it, spinning it a little to make sure the hot glue is around all the sides, then trimming the excess so that it doesn't interfere with the rolling. I'm also adding some hot glue to the tissue paper at the top of the arch to cover up that gnarly hot glue spot we put to connect the wire to the skewer. Now I'm adding the fringe to the other poles, and here you can see I added glue as I went, and this made it a lot easier to get it nice and full looking. The fringe I'm using for this was the extra fringe from the stuff I put around the box because I'm trying to make it not be serving WWE be realness and instead be serving Pride realness. So I thought this was a nice extra touch to the edges. And to make it look more finished, I ended up painting the railing purple. I did about 2 to 3 coats, and I am very happy with how it turned out. Here is the completed float being towed by the cruiser! And here's an up close of how I attached it. I ended up using some string and a paper clip. I threaded the string through the grill in the back of the cruiser, and then I used the paper clip essentially as a hook to connect them. I stabbed one end of the paper clip into the bottom of the float to secure it, and once I felt like it was secured, we were off. I absolutely love how it looks being towed by the cruiser. I'm so grateful that I have the cruiser in my collection. Here's the best close-up I could get of how I attached the paper clip to the float. I really just shoved it in there until it felt secure. And here's how it rolls. It's honestly bumpy, but it looks so cute.
I'm so glad it's finished. I'm definitely gonna be showing this baby off all month. So go ahead and get started on yours. I can't wait to see what you come up with. Post your video showing off your float on TikTok or Instagram and tag me, the Moody Bratz, on all platforms by June 24th to be included in the parade video. Throughout the rest of the month, I will be restyling my favorite Bratz dolls to ride on the float and stand by at the parade. So stay tuned for that little mini series that's gonna be on shorts. Also, stay tuned for the detailed unboxing of the Bratz Pride pack, which I will be opening this month. Obviously, they need to ride on the float, so they have to come out of their box. Also, let me know if you want a long video opening a bunch of MGA Miniverse surprise toys, because they sent me a little PR package, so I have a bunch of capsules. Make It Mini Food, Mini Bratz Series 2. They also sent a Little Tykes Mini. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, follow, and turn on that notifications bell because you know you don't want to miss any of these videos. I put out new videos every Wednesday, for the most part. If you like my content and you'd like to see more frequently, support the show by donating at the link below. I can't wait to see what y'all create! Thanks for watching, I'll see you in the next one!